So with that being said, I'm not going to lecture and speak at you all, but however, I'm going to tell the story through pictures and things like that, showing pictures and things, and you all can ask questions or clarifications or anything like that as I'm going through. How do you all want to do that? Do you all want to have it set up like that, or ask questions after? Or as we're going through? As we're going through, perfect. Okay, that's how I wanted it, but I don't want to force it on you. Okay, so yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. So I was granted the opportunity last year. I was selected by the Fulbright program to go teach in Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, for 9 months. It's a very, I guess, I didn't know this until afterwards. I guess it's a very prestigious award. I didn't realize that until after the fact. So it was a great opportunity to go to meet other young people who went to other places throughout Africa and Latin America and places. But yeah, just overall a great opportunity. I was blessed that they thought of me to be a person that they could send. So with that being said, this is just the first slide. Nothing really too much to explain here. Just pictures of me. This is a picture of my students on the bottom bottom left. Picture of me and my students. This picture here is a picture of me and my friend and one of my students. And the top picture there was a picture of before I left, a friend of mine, I guess he worked at a bank, and one of his customers at the bank was Ivorian. So he put me in contact with him, and through that, he put me in contact with a family, who was there. So they invited me over, and they prepared this big meal that I could not finish, and they were a little upset about that. It'll play for it. But no, just a blessed opportunity to have. First I wanted to kind of start off with a little bit of the scenery. I'm not a big photo person, but you do want to take pictures to savor the moment. These are just pictures of mostly my neighborhood, actually. So I lived in Abidjan. I lived in Benjaville. But Benjaville is a suburb right outside of Abidjan, which is the largest city in Côte d'Ivoire. So it's basically a Gary Chicago type relationship. This is actually the middle picture right here is where I live. That's where I live. I live like right around the corner in there. So this is just the scenery of my neighborhood. As you can see, not many huts and things like that. So I know that's an idea that people have. But yeah. I'm sorry? Yes. No, I live by myself. I have to go through the process of finding my own place. Yeah, definitely. The other Fulbrighter got there like 2 weeks before I did. So she kind of went through the hard process. I actually she lives in this little unit. It's about 5 studios. So she lived in one, and I lived in another one, and other families lived in another one. So she kind of did the hard work of visiting multiple places. So by the time I got there, I just agreed, yeah, that's fine with me. That's basically how I have to do.
So in relation to what we would pay here for an apartment, what was like the cost there?
Well, the studio I lived in, I lucked up. It was maybe the equivalent of $120 a month. So I lucked up. But some of them could be more expensive than that. So I think the basic apartment could probably be about $500. So not as expensive as the U.S., but still relatively. People think of Africa, they think maybe cheap. 500 isn't necessarily cheap, but not as expensive. So yeah, this is the scenery. Inside, I should have took pictures of that. No, it was it was a studio, so I had a big room. I had a shower. I had a indoor toilet. Yeah, I had all of that. Yeah. I had to furnish it myself.
So you had to buy beds and all of that?
Yeah, but it wasn't so expensive. It wasn't that bad for me. Yeah, it wasn't that bad. But for me, it was a good experience. I took it as an experience. So yeah, it was a good experience. But yeah, indoor plumbing, all of that, running water, all of that. Now I will say that I only had cold water, so I didn't have hot water. So, but I will say under the African sun, a cold shower is ideal. You don't want to take a hot shower after you've been sweating all day. So yeah, the cold showers are sweating all night as you sleep actually too. So yeah, I had there were moments when sometimes the power would go out, the water would go, the water would be cut. So you have moments like that, but you learn how to adjust.
Was it?
Yeah. But there it happens much more frequently.
So it wasn't scheduled, because I was in one part of Africa where they knew at certain times of the day they had no water.
No, it wasn't.
scheduled.
It wasn't scheduled. No, sometimes it would go off. It'd be off in the morning. Sometimes it'd be off at night. But I mean, you adjust. You know, if you have to take a shower, everybody there, you have a bucket, a big bucket. Where you save water. And when you don't have any running water, you go to your big bucket. You take a bucket bath. All of those things. So yeah. No, I didn't have to, and that's another thing. They say like the water is contaminated. You mean like in terms of like contamination?
Yeah.
I had no problem. The issue isn't necessarily that water in Africa isn't clean. I'm sure there are parts like when you get to rural areas where the water isn't clean. But I mean, we in EC right now, so in Flint, so the U.S. is in no position. Yeah, I drank the water. Yeah, I drank the water. No, I mean, I don't know I don't think it was well water. No, I drank it. Now, they tell you the first few weeks it's going to hurt. Your stomach is going to go through some changes because it's adjusting to the water. But after a few weeks, I was good. I was just drinking the water all the time.
Did you take any pills a couple of months before?
I guess you're supposed to take malaria, but so I did at first, but towards the middle of the trip, I stopped taking my malaria pills. And I actually caught malaria about twice, two or three times. I don't know. They do it in Celsius, so it was hot. I guess I would say maybe it was never lower than 80. Never lower than 80. So even and it's so funny, like when it's 80 there, people are bringing out Scully hats and jackets and stuff. And I'm like, y'all tripping. Like, y'all couldn't make it to Chicago for a minute. I caught malaria twice while I was there, which wasn't. And this is the thing. Like when you speak to people there, they say, yeah, malaria's not. Like because to them malaria is like how we go through the flu. It's like the flu. So, you go, you catch it, you go and you take a few, you go to the pharmacy, get a few pills, and it's you go about your way. The only time malaria is an issue is in like rural areas where they don't have access to pharmacies and things like that. But in the city where pharmacy is walking distance, people don't die from malaria. So. The symptoms: fevers, chills, a little bit of the runs, all of that stuff. Go ahead. So the first time I caught it, it wasn't. I caught a fever and everything, but I was able to knock it out relatively early. Now the second time, I had a Fred Sampson moment. Like, Elizabeth coming. Like, I had one of those type of moments. But the people there, like, they kind of coach you on how to like fight it. They have their own ways of fighting. Drinking a lot of water. Because the thing with malaria is you can't have it stay in your body. So even if you get it, and it's not like every mosquito has malaria, So you get it, and if you make sure you're drinking a lot, you can pee it out. Even the pills that you get to get malaria makes you have to urinate a lot, so you can get it out your system. So yeah, even my one friend, he used to drink a lot of beers. And I said, why do you drink beer all the time? This particular beer, I guess. And he said it helps with the malaria. I was like, okay, I'll keep that in mind. So yeah. So just those certain things. You know, spraying down before you go to sleep. Yeah, to kill the mosquitoes. Yeah, I had a net, but the mosquitoes out there, they clever. They clever. Like one time I woke up, I slept with a shirt, I woke up with a mosquito bite on my shoulder. And I said, this is a ninja mosquito here, something. I don't know how I got bit right there. So yeah, so you know, you had those moments, you know, of being, that's why some people in Africa, they sleep with like long sleeve shirts, like pants and stuff, because, you know, mosquitoes can bite you if you have on, you know, long sleeve stuff. So yeah. Oh, I'll get to that. I got a slide on the food. So yeah, any other questions on this particular one? Okay, go forward.
Was the malaria field was it accessible to like everybody that was in the urban area? I mean, could they afford it, or was that one?
No, I mean most people didn't have an issue affording it.
Okay.
Yeah, most people didn't have an issue affording it. So not what I would say.
Powering on.
So okay, thank you.
Did they have any paved roads, or were they out there?
Oh yeah, no. They have paved roads. They have paved roads. I mean, this area is just like, I guess more so, but like a cul-de-sac type ish area. So yeah, that's why these roads are paved. But so yeah, this is another scenery shot. That is very interesting that they flipped the picture upside down, because it was not like that in the when I put it on there. Yeah, you all see it? So yeah, try to bear with me. Like yeah, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. So as you can see, they have cars in Africa. They have cars, nice cars, new cars, right? I mean, I say that because a lot of people, like before I left, somebody asked me a question like, because I had a natural before I left, and they said like, you know, do they have barbershops in Africa? And so I said, well, do they have hair in Africa? I was like, they got hair. They probably have to have somewhere to manage it, right? So yeah, the reason I have to talk about the car and stuff is because a lot of people think, you know, people are probably riding donkeys or something. I don't know. So yeah, this right here is also, I guess the picture isn't that great, but this is like the road. So you know, you have highways and things like that. This is a plateau. This is like their downtown area. Yeah. This is the university, which is actually a big, beautiful, one of the biggest in Africa. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, a little bit. When I saw that, I was joking with the people who I was with when I took that picture, and I was like, yeah, this reminds me of home a little bit. Yeah. So in the bottom picture, the picture that's flipped, those are two young people waiting on these things called the baka. A baka is like, anybody who's ever been to Africa, they're all over Africa, just different names, but like these little minivans, they ride up and down, they pick up people. In some places they use motorcycles, but in Cote d'Ivoire they use bakas. So you know, you just kind of wait until a baka that's going in your direction comes and you hop on it. Yeah, it's a very, very interesting experience. But you get used to it. You get used to it.
Well, what's so interesting about it?
Well, I mean, if you don't like people being in your personal space, this is probably not you probably don't want to do that. The equivalent to maybe like 40 cents. So everybody takes it. But the thing is, they're always running. So they're always running. So you never have to wait a long time for one because they're always running. Go ahead.
So isn't it about maybe 20 people that fit on one of those little buses? 15?
Maybe about 15. About 15. So yeah, I mean, it's very close and compact. But you know, you become friendly with people on there. You know, I guess you don't have a choice when you're that close. But yeah, you know, everybody's very friendly. So yeah, I had no issues. The only issue I had was when I first got there. So you know, black people are very interesting because everywhere in this world, they take the Queen's language and they flip it. So you know, my French was never perfect in the beginning to begin with. So you get here and they have their own version of French, which, you know, they can, I mean, like how we, you know, we can. Absolutely, absolutely. So, but they don't teach you this French in the books, right? So, you know, you get there and, you know, somebody says something and, you know, they may say, on dit quoi, which is basically like, what's up? Or the literal translation is like, say what, you know, in French, but that's not grammatically correct French. So I'm thinking like, I know these words, but I don't know what they mean together. So, right? But it's equivalent to, you know, if they would come over here and I say, good looking out, right? They would know, they know those words, but what does that mean in that context of me, of them handing me something and me saying, good looking out, appreciate it, right? So yeah, the story I wanted to tell was, so one day I was waiting for a baka. So I lived in Benjamin. So this goes into the story, the different French dialects and things. So, you know, I'm hearing these folks say, Jabil, 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 as they're riding by to get people on their baka. And, you know, I'm sitting waiting, but I'm waiting for Benjamin, you know. And so, so I ended up talking to them. I waited for probably about an hour. So I told you these things are running every 5 minutes, so they, even less than that. So, right. So, so I'm talking to this guy, and we're piecing together the best Franglish we can do in this conversation. And then somebody's like, Jabil, Jabil, and he looks at me, he said, hey, it's your ride. And I said, no, I'm getting on Ben Jabil. And he looked at me, he said, Jabil. And I said, Ben Jabil. Jabil. I said, okay, wow, okay. Right? Had to put those two together. So they didn't say Ben Jabil, they just say Jabil. Because they're in a rush and they don't have time to get all that out. So, right, so yeah, that was my interesting experience with that. Yeah, I could have been home an hour ago. Wow, yeah. But I never had that mistake again, I can tell you that. Huh? Yeah, I never had that problem again. So this is a little bit of the food. Not all of the type of food they have, but some of it. So on the right, on the far right, that's the rice is called, it's actually from Nigeria, I think. It's not Ivorian, but it's called riz gras. So riz is how you say rice in French. I don't know what gras is. Fat? Okay. Well, no, fat is gros. Yeah, so gras, I don't know. I don't know what that is. Like I said, it's a Nigerian dish. So maybe they flip, you know, a Nigerian type of, maybe gras and Igbo word or something. But yeah, so that's usually how you eat the fish. You know, it's an actual fish. It's not made pretty for you. But I mean, but it's very tasty, I'll tell you that. No catfish. No catfish. Yeah, the scales on it. Yeah, the scales on it, the eyes. Oh yeah, you cook it. All that stuff softens up. All that stuff softens up. Yeah.
So how do you eat it?
Yeah, you eat it with your hands. So with the rice, you know, you eat the rice with the spoon. But these other two dishes, that's a cheke. Cheke is like the most popular food in Côte d'Ivoire. That's what they're known for. Is a cheke. So a cheke you eat with your hand. So you a cheke?
What is it?
The fish? Well, yeah, grilled. It's grilled.
Do they have short rice?
No.
What is a check?
A cheke is made from cassava. But cassava is like a fruit. Yeah.
So which one is that? The check?
Both the two dishes on the left.
Oh, the fried, the grilled is that too?
No. This right here is a cheke. That is a cheke. The other stuff, this is like tomatoes and onions and mayonnaise, and that's the fish. So a cheke, you eat that with your hands. So you take a handful, you smash it together, you pop it in your mouth. It's great. It's great, huh? Yeah. Equivalent. So with the fish and the tomatoes, you take the tomatoes, you take a little piece of the fish, and you put it on top of your chicken that you're going to eat at that moment. Push it, smash it together. You pop it in your mouth and you eat it.
What does a check taste like? What's equivalent?
I don't know. I don't have an equivalent, honestly, but it's good. I can tell you that.
Sweet and savory?
Maybe, I mean, it really doesn't have a taste, actually. That's why you mix this stuff with it. Yeah. But it's filling. It's filling. Like that dish right there will fill you up.
So you said that's tomatoes and onions and mayonnaise?
Yeah, on the side.
A lot of mayonnaise.
Yeah. But the thing is, you mix it together. You mix it together. Go ahead.
Do they have bats? Do they still grill bats?
No. Well, I don't know.
Where at, but they still.
Yeah, I don't know where I was. I mean, they eat cats sometimes. They eat a lot of stuff there, a lot of different stuff.
So this is not Ghana, this is the other,
This is Ivory Coast.
okay, Ivory Coast.
Uh huh.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. I mean, they're neighbors, but I mean, I'll get into that.
What kind of fish is that? What's the name of it?
I'm not sure.
Is that freshwater or salt?
Probably. Yeah, probably salt. I would think. I would think so. So yeah, so this dish together is called gaba. So a check A, you can eat a check A with anything. You can eat check A with chicken, you can eat a check A with beef. But when you put it together with this type of fish that's cut up in these pieces, it's called gaba. Gaba. So a lot of young people there like it. So as soon as I got there, like my students were like, "Have you eaten gaba?" And I'm like, "Nah, not yet." So, but yeah, no, it's very good. It's very good. And they also, I didn't have a picture of this, but they also have a dish called a loco. A loco is like plantains basically, but it's cut up into smaller little pieces. But it's basically like plantains. That's how it tastes. So yeah, this is Lycée de Garçons de Benjaville. So yeah, this was the school I was at. Yeah. So I'll go do some more pictures. But yeah, no, these students were hilarious. I had a great time teaching them, interacting with them. I could be almost anywhere around the city, and somebody would walk up to me and say, "Good morning, sir." No matter where I was, it was crazy that my students were all over. I always kind of felt like I was protected in a way, because like wherever I was, I ran into a student or something like that. So the ones I particularly taught were about probably the equivalent of freshmen and sophomores. So, but the thing there is that they have they don't have like even though this is lycée is high school. So schools in Africa, like middle school and high school are like together, basically. So they're kind of together. So it's not like you have a separate middle school and a high school. They're kind of all together. So the actual school I taught at, I mean, yeah, the ages probably range from 12 to 8 to 19, something like that. But the students I worked with in particular were, that I taught in particular, were about 14, 15-ish.
What were you teaching?
English. Yeah, I was teaching English. Yeah, that was another interesting experience, teaching English. I guess this whole experience I gained a lot of respect for language that I never had before. Because I had to learn one. Well, I took French, but they don't necessarily teach you how to. I think in the U.S. they teach you how to more so read it and write it. They don't focus on like actually what you actually need to do to communicate with people. So that was a struggle when I first got there. Even to the point where sometimes I would have to write stuff down for people. I can write you a perfect sentence, but I can't say it for you. So I had moments like that. But just gaining that respect for it, and also gaining respect for English that I never had. Learned the different grammatical points of it, and having to articulate that, and things like that. So yeah, that was a very good experience for me. So these are more pictures. And so when I'm completely done with this slide, I'll show a few videos. Most of my videos aren't long, but I'll show a few videos. So yeah, these are my students as well. This picture on the right is a picture of my brother and my students when he came. My brother came to visit me. The picture in the top left that was like my last day teaching. So all my students wanted to get selfies and things like that. And then this bottom picture was a cultural event that my students had. There was a terrorist attack there while I was there in Grand Bassam. Grand Bassam was maybe 45 minutes from where the city I was in. So it wasn't that far. But, it kind of put some tension in the air, in terms of like radical Islam and things, which Côte d'Ivoire never necessarily had an issue with. So my students, they did a cultural event. There were maybe 60 different tribes in Côte d'Ivoire. So they did a cultural event, to try to bring people back together on campus and things like that. So that's what this is. That's what that's about. So in the in the north of the country you have, which is probably true for most West African countries. In the north you have Islam, and then in the south you have Christianity. So yeah. Well, I was in the south, so where I was, they were Christian. But but in a particular city where I lived, it was both, because it was a major city. It was the biggest city. So in the city there was a lot of Muslims, and actually probably more Muslims than Christians in the city. But so in Cote d'Ivoire, maybe 4 years ago, there was a civil war there that cost maybe 5,000 lives. So yeah, so there used to be a lot of tension there in terms of that, but yeah, a lot of that tension isn't there anymore. It was based on religion. So yeah, so also while I was there, I worked with the Club d'Anglais, which is the English club. So these were like this is like my crew. If you saw me on campus at my school, I was usually running around with them, helping them out, things like this. Because I was in an awkward situation in the sense that even though I was a teacher, I was actually probably closer in age to some of the students than I was with some of the other teachers. Because I think maybe the teachers who were my age didn't speak good English. So, and my French I could manage. But after a point, my French was a wrap. It was a wrap for my French. So yeah, so a lot of times the students in the English club, they could speak very good English, relatively, right? So a lot of times, and some of them were maybe 18, 19, I was 24, so it wasn't like it was a big age gap in that sense. So yeah, so they would ask me, and this also gave me a lot of respect for slang, because they would ask, they listen to rap music, right? So they would ask me, oh, what does Drake mean when he says this? And I'm like, wow, I know what that means, but how do I explain that, right? How do I explain it? Like they say, what does tell them mean? I was like, it means tell them. And it was like, wow, so yeah, to me it's like, tell them that's just how we talk, right? But yeah, having to explain those type of things, like having to explain, I'm finna go to the store, right? I had to explain that to people, right? I'm finna go to the store. And it was like, what is that? Like, what is that? And I was like, I don't know what that is. I've just been saying it all my life. So, but then, or anybody knows me, I say, and when I'm in informal settings, I say, a lot. So yeah, I couldn't, and I couldn't speak like that there, because if I say, to them, they say, no, I don't, what are you talking about, right? So I had a lot of moments like that. But then, they have their own things like that. In French, where I had my moments of, hey, this isn't formal French, so you gotta break this down for me, what is that? So yeah, you had those type of moments. But these group of guys really, like, they help me with the French slang, they help me with all of that, which is called Nushi. So I guess we call it like, what, Ebonics or something like that? They call theirs Nushi.
What they ask is, I think it's kind of funny how idioms, like phrases, kind of translate in different languages. What's your favorite one that may not be the same, or is the same, but it's a little bit of a twist?
You mean like a word that they say there?
No, like you sink or swim, or you drink or drown, would be an example of English and real English. So.
I don't know. They had their phrases that I couldn't pinpoint an idiom, but their phrases. So I say this: people in Cote d'Ivoire cannot drive for their life. Their life depended on it. They cannot drive. They drive on sidewalks, all this stuff. So I remember one time I'm walking on the sidewalk and this guy's honking at me. And I'm like, I'm on the sidewalk, he's honking at me like, get out of the way. I'm like, okay. So yeah, I almost got hit on several occasions. I've seen people almost get hit on several occasions. Seen many accidents happen. No, just in the street in general. So one of the idioms, one of the phrases is a phrase that I picked up that I love. It's called "anouale," which I think is like old French or something like that. It's "anouale." So "anouale," it means like, it's whatever, let it be, let's go. It means, depending on the context. So one time, we're actually driving to go pick up my brother from the airport, and so most of the times when accidents happen, it's because of taxi drivers and the BACA. Because the BACA, you know, they be driving that big old van like it's like a Cavalier or something like that, like trying to whip her in and out and stuff. So many times when there's accidents, it's because of that. So we're in this taxi to go pick up my brother, and these people are like walking across the street, and the taxi driver like starts speeding up, and me and my friend was like, I guess he wanted to beat them to the point or something like that. And so me and my friend was like, hey man, what you doing? And so like the lady, you know, starts yelling at him, cussing him out and stuff like that. And then, you know, as we're driving, we continue driving, and the taxi driver, he said, you know, if you are in the car, I knew I left. He said, whatever, I would have hit him, I ran over. And we was like, okay. But yeah, so that was a phrase that I guess I picked up, but you can kind of use it for so many different things. And there's also a phrase called shoko, which that can mean also many things. It can mean bougie, like mean you bougie, or it can mean you got swag. So it depends on the context in which a person is talking to you. So a lot of my friends call me shoko because I'm American. So they're like, oh, you shoko, you bougie. So okay, whatever. So yeah, these are my students right there. So yeah, that's just a picture of all of us together. This is typically how most of the classrooms look. Yeah, so no projector, right? No laptop. Platform that was barely standing. So yeah, I mean, you know, definitely a sense, you know, resources in terms of education are definitely needed, but it teaches you how to be resourceful in a way, to, you know, find other means to communicate your message and things like that. Yeah, they have books. They have books. You know, they have pens and papers and things like that. Yeah, and then I contrast that with, like, that doesn't mean people are poor, right? That don't mean people are like, you know, barely being able to eat, things like that. But yeah, just that education is not necessarily prioritized by the government, right? But we live in Gary, so we can understand that, right? So yeah, so some of the situations. So yeah, these are the English teachers. So who became like surrogate uncles, aunts, mothers to me. So very, very helpful. They struggled with me with my French. You know, they were like, "No, you're in a French-speaking country. You will speak French." You know, because it wasn't an issue for me. I actually wanted to speak French, but you know, other folks had tried to piece together their English. You know, because I don't know. People feel like you're American, so they need to speak English. But no, my English teachers would always struggle with me, say, no, even if somebody, because a lot of other teachers they would want to practice their English with me, but my French teachers would say, but you respond in French, you know, and things like that. So, but yeah, no, they were very, very helpful, and yeah, looked out for me, you know, calling me every other day, making sure everything was right. So yeah, they were very, very, very helpful. So yeah, these were like community events that I was a part of. So the part of the Fulbright program is that you're not just teaching, you're also doing, because you know the program is through the embassy, so you kind of also you don't work for the embassy, but you kind of work for the embassy, if that makes sense. So a lot of times I would help and volunteer with embassy events when they did outreach to the community and stuff like that. So yeah, this is typically like how the schools look. This is like the uniforms, you know, girls, their uniform, guys wore khakis and stuff. This event on the, this picture on the bottom left, we were at the American Corner. This was for Black History Month. We had just watched Do the Right Thing. So yeah, it was interesting. It was an very interesting conversation. Very, just, you know, interesting talk because a lot of people don't understand how much I think the world looks up to America, but also looks up to Black Americans in particular. So you know, they had many questions on that. You know, many questions on police brutality and things like that, because they see the news. You know, this stuff, you know, is shown all over the world with people. The assault that's happening on Black people right now. So you know, they have questions, and they're Black, right? A lot of them America's a promised land, so they want to come. So they say there's this contradiction, right? I'm black when it comes to America, but black folks get killed in America. What's up with that? So they had many questions on that. And if you know me, I didn't hold my tongue on that. Clearly we watched Do the Right Thing, right? Which I think encompasses what's going on in America right now. So that was a very good experience too. So these are just more community events and things like that. Panels and stuff that either I was a part of or helped organize or something like that. So just more community events. And that, ironically, the girl in the top who's speaking in the top picture. Y'all see my hair though? My hair got big. The girl in the top picture on the left, she's actually American. She's a black American, but she I guess her parent is a diplomat. So it was interesting meeting her. I was like, that's interesting, Because at first I tried to speak French and she was like, no, I'm American. Like, you speak English? I said, okay, cool. All right. So that was another event.
How did you speak to her?
Como ça va? Like, how are you? Just general stuff.
Just casual conversation.
Yeah, just casual, because the thing is when you're American, like, and you come to somebody's school, they want to show you off. Like, the Americans here. So, check, 1, 2, all right. The Americans here, so they want to show you off. So she knew I was American before we actually had the conversation. Because I had to, give an introduction of myself or something. So she was like, nah, we couldn't do that. Speak French with me. So that was how that went. Does this one work? Okay, this one will be a little better. I got a lot of community pictures. I didn't realize that. All right. These are just more community events that, like I said, I was a part of, organizing or actually a part of. We had English competitions and things like that, in which my boys won. My boys, they took the crown, they held it down. So, So these are my friends. These are friends of mine. Who it was really ironic how I met a lot of my friends. So, but I had a good time. In the far picture, the farthest picture, those are kind of my ace boom coon. So those were usually who I was running around with while I was there. I think this time we just got down bowling.
On the right.
On the left. Yeah, on the right too. Yeah, on the right too. Yeah. We were like in a club or something like that, if you can tell, I guess. They do it. They have clubs. They have clubs out. Yes. Okay. It's a good idea.
Beautiful names.
Huh? Well, yeah. But a lot of their names are a lot of them they were colonized by the French, so a lot of their names are their last names are usually traditional, but a lot of their first names are Western. Let's see. You want me to try to give the French pronunciation too, or just the English? Okay. So this is my friend Ange. So Ange in English is angel. So this is his name. That's my friend Luke. You can't really see his face, but Luc. That's how you say it in French. But Luke in English. This is my friend Amarelli. She's a dope poet. I went to a lot of spoken word events and things like that. This is my friend Victoria. This is I don't want to jump in front, but that's Ange again, myself, my friend Malik, Luke again, Carmen, she's American, Christy, she's American, and Yenny, she's in the back. Yenny's interesting because she's like Ivorian and Chinese, so it was interesting to meet her and become friends with her because she has an interesting story. More friends. As you can see, I was with Luke and Ange a lot. Those are probably the two folks I was with all the time, Luke and Ange. This is my guy. His name is Ordine. he's been to America. I think he might be here now, so I need to try to link up with him. This is we went paintballing, so yeah, it was actually pretty fun. So this is Luc. I don't know this guy's name. I forget it, but he's a Frenchman. But yeah, I don't know his name, but he was really cool. But yeah, this is Ange in this bottom one, Ange. Christy, she was the other Fulbrighter who was teaching English there. Myself, Luc, Carmen, and Madusu. So yeah, this is my friend Claudia. She's actually from Ghana, but well, her parents are from Ghana, but she grew up in Côte d'Ivoire. This is my older brother right there who came to visit me. Wow, I didn't realize I'm that much bigger than him now. And this is my friend Malik again, and just two of his friends. And I know their names, but if I tried to say them, I would butcher them. So I'm not going to try to do that. So yeah, this is lobby. This is like the life. So this is just like I guess extracurricular type events that I would go to. So like jazz. I got into jazz while I was there. I never was into jazz like that. But jazz is actually very, very big in Ivory Coast. So it'd be interesting, being at a lounge or something and them playing tune. Jazz comes from the U.S., right? So hearing tunes that I had grown up listening to all my life, and everybody there is like, "How do you know this?" I'm like, well, "I grew up listening to this." So yeah, that's just some folks doing an African dance and things like that. And this poet is actually like the best. I mean, this the guy playing the trumpet. Sack. It's a sack, sorry. Apologies. He's actually like the best in Ivory Coast. Like he's like been in magazines and stuff like that, but he's a real down to earth brother. Like got a chance to talk to him and meet him and stuff. He's really good. So yeah, these are just more events. I actually got into soccer a little bit while I was there because soccer is actually very big in Africa. So yeah, we went to a few soccer matches. The picture on the far right is a picture of Massa. Massa is a big African festival that's held in Ivory Coast every 2 years, I think, where folks from all over the continent, all over the world come there. So, and this is the other picture where you see all of us. We just got done doing some poetry. So yeah, this is when I went to Ghana. So the title of my presentation, Brother Man in the Motherland. It has a certain uniqueness for me. When I first told Kim, because she's the one who's been marketing it as Brother Man in the Motherland, she was like, "What? That's like a corny name. Like, Brother Man in the Motherland, what does that even mean?" But it comes from when we were in Ghana. So my friend Luke, he's Ivorian, we went to Ghana to visit my friend Ricky, and it's crazy how these relationships pan out, because I never met Ricky before I went to Ghana. I went to college with a girl, and her family's from Ghana. So when I told her I was going to be possibly going to Ghana, she put me in contact with Ricky, the guy on the far right, and like it was kind of like me and him had known each other all our lives or something like that. Just how quick we all bonded and things. So yeah, the title "Brother Man in the Motherland" comes from. I can't pinpoint it, but I don't know why I said it, but for some reason I was like, yeah, we the brother man in the motherland, brother man in the motherland. And my friend Luke, I guess it just caught him. He just kept saying it all day. Yeah, we brother man. He just kept saying it all day. So then that became like, I guess like a inside thing for us three. So like sometimes when I messaged them on Facebook or something, I started off with brother man in the motherland, and it's what's up. So it comes from that. So. And we're actually standing in front of Independence Square, where I don't know, I forget the significance of it, but obviously it has a date of when Ghana got its independence from Great Britain. So yeah. So these are more pictures from Ghana. Right there, we're in front of where Kwame Nkrumah. I got a chance to visit his museum. So we're in front of his tomb. His tomb is in there. That's his car right there. That's actually, the bottom picture is actually a picture of a Luke, but the picture was just so dope, I had to put it in. Like, it's like, I was like, that picture's cold. So yeah, this picture, this building here is a picture of it's an airport that Kwame Nkrumah was working on building during the coup. So if anybody knows, Kwame Nkrumah was there was a coup that got him out of power. So that airport, it's just been dormant. It's just been sitting there since he left, right? So it's kind of like, for me, this because Kwame Nkrumah had all these visions on like Pan-Africanism and building up a united Africa and stuff like that. So it kind of talks about, for me, it symbolizes unfinished dream, unfinished business, right? So yeah, and then the funny thing about these two little girls, I don't know them, but me and my friends Luke and Ricky, we were walking, and as we were walking, like my friend Ricky had my camera, and these two little girls just walked in front of us and just started posing, and so we looking at them like, y'all okay? Like, what's up? And she looks, one of them says, you got a camera, right? Take a picture. And I was like, okay. So here, we took the picture, obviously, as you can see. So yeah, it's just a fun experience. So, and it was good, because I stayed with Ricky. So, I stayed kind of in the hood in Ghana. So, for me, that was just a beautiful experience. Because I always say, wherever I go somewhere, I want to go to the hood. Show me where the people are, That's what I want to see. So, yeah. So this is South Africa. So when I was in South Africa, so I got a chance to tour Africa a little bit while I was there. I went to four countries while I was in Côte d'Ivoire. So these are the other Fulbrighters. So we have Fulbrighters in Senegal, Fulbrighters in Rwanda, Fulbrighters in Kenya, obviously Côte d'Ivoire. I want to say we had one other place. That might be it. Maybe Uganda as well, and then in South Africa. So South Africa, they had the most Fulbrighters. So there were 14 Fulbrighters in South Africa. So that's why we had the conference, the Africa conference in South Africa. But it was a beautiful experience for me. So yeah, this is just a picture of all these cool people that I was able to develop genuine friendship with over there. So yeah, these are just other pictures of South Africa. South Africa is if anybody's ever been. You forget you're in Africa when you're in South Africa. I'll be honest. Like in this, when you talk to other sub-Saharan African countries, they'll say South Africa isn't Africa. That's its own thing. Because South Africa is so developed. It's very developed. It's like you're in the United States actually. Right. But even that is not like the rest of Africa, right? Because I said that to say, like, there is poverty, because a lot of my friends, they didn't believe there's poverty and stuff in America. I'm like, there's poverty. But there's a distinction. Like, poverty in America is different than poverty in Africa. It is a very big difference. So one of my teachers, one of the English teachers, she was telling me how when they were protesting against apartheid, she was saying how folks in like other parts of Africa was like, they should be quiet. They got houses, So she was joking when she said it, but that just goes to, I guess, explain how other African countries view South Africa as being like this developed place. This picture with all of us that's in front of Mandela's house. That neighborhood is completely gentrified now. But we got a chance to roll through Soweto. We got a chance to visit the Apartheid Museum. We got a chance to visit where Hector Peterson was killed. You see right there. It was South Africa was a really, really good experience. That's the end of that one. I also got a chance to go to Kenya while I was there, Nairobi. Nairobi's another place that's very developed. I was somewhat surprised because before going to Nairobi, I've been to Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana, and Tanzania, and they're not as developed. Nairobi was very, 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 very developed. Beautiful place too. Very beautiful. And this was Tanzania. So I went to Tanzania maybe 3 years ago to teach English for a month. But when I went, I was like in a rural town. So this time I was in the actual city. So it was a different experience, different vibe. Very fun. And also in this picture right here is Mount Kilimanjaro, which is the largest mountain in Africa. So it's the highest point in Africa. I think they say it takes like 2 weeks to climb it or something like that. So yeah, it's a very big place, and it's in Tanzania. So if anybody, a lot of people go there to climb it. So if anybody's interested in that. Somewhat. Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, pretty small. Yeah. Yeah, I did it. Out of places. I don't think any place is better. Every place has its own uniqueness, right? So Tanzania has like 2 things that I love. They have like red bananas. They're like red, like, and they're delicious. They're sweet, basically very sweet bananas, but they're red. No, you don't cook them. They grow them like that. Yeah. So very delicious. And also in Tanzania, something that's big is they have it's like a milk coffee type thing. It's like white. It's like a white coffee. Yeah, it's I loved it because sometimes you get in the habit of just drinking coffee, but this one is good because the coffee there isn't as strong as the coffee here. Like the coffee is like a drug, but the coffee there, a lot of them drink it for the taste. So it's not. I mean, obviously it's coffee, so it's caffeine, right? But it's not pumped up with so much caffeine, not so potent. So yeah, the milk coffee there was good. I would say probably Cote d'Ivoire probably to me had the best food in terms of dishes. Ghana, the food was good, but in Ghana they like make a smorgasbord of food. They trying to like throw all their food together. So it's good, but it doesn't sit with the stomach too well. At least in my case, it didn't sit with the stomach too well. It's a little too much. And South Africa is westernized, so all their food is, food here, basically. Yeah, they got like KFCs and stuff in South Africa. They didn't have that in other places. In Kenya, I didn't eat out so much there. When I was there, I guess I ate at the house I was at. And the house I stayed at, they were Ethiopian, so they would make Ethiopian dishes, which are actually very tasty. I don't know if anybody's eaten Ethiopian food, but it's very good. So yeah. That was the basics of the food. And yeah, this is I guess end of the picture selection. I was going to show a few videos so you all can get a feel, hear people talk, and hear music, and all those different things. But yeah, this is the end of the picture portion of it. So I don't know if, and as I'm going to the videos, folks can ask questions as well.
Share with them about the supplemental health issues, how the difference is between
In terms of how the community reacts to it?
Right.
So did you all hear our question?
Yeah.
Her question was how do to talk about mental health, right? So how does the community deal with people who have mental illnesses there? Well, I will say this: there are no old people's homes in Africa. So your older people in your family, they live with you, they stay with you. So people don't put family members in nursing homes and things like that. In terms of mental health, I don't think they have actual mental health facilities. But you'll see people who are, you can tell something happened. So I was telling my mother the contrast is in America. A lot of times you can see if somebody has mental illnesses if they're walking down the street and they have a lot of clothes on, right? And it's hot. You're like, whoa, something's going on with them, right? Because so in America, like people with mental illnesses, a lot of times they put on a lot of clothes. But in Africa, they take them all off. so yeah, you'll be walking down the street and you'll just see a guy walking, stuff swinging everywhere, and you're like, okay. And you can tell somebody tried to give them a robe, but they're not using the robe. They got the robe over their shoulder. So they got the robe, they're just not wearing it.
It's a cape now.
Right, it's a cape. So, but nobody, there's no issues, right? There's no tension. Nobody's messing with them. They're not messing with nobody. Like kids are playing around them and nobody's panicking and things like that. And there was a lot of things that were very interesting to me. Like while I was there, I guess the whole issue around like public breastfeeding becoming real big in the U.S. People like, have an issue with people breastfeeding in public. But there, like everybody's, you know, you walk down the street, you're gonna see at least 10 people, breast popped out, you know, and nobody cares. Nobody's tripping. Like people got other stuff to worry about. So they just, you know, walk in, you know, taking care of their business. Another thing I guess was like, I guess when I was there was a big discussion about the unisex bathrooms and stuff like that. But there, a lot of the bathrooms are unisex anyway, so they didn't have like, I guess, like that issue, that tension that was coming here with, like, I guess with transgender folks using certain bathrooms. They didn't have that issue because all of the bathrooms were unisex anyway, so it didn't really matter. Everybody just went to the bathroom. Yeah, because even one time I went to the bathroom and washed my hands, and a woman like walks in and washes her hands beside me. And you know, in America you condition a certain way, so I'm like, okay, this is awkward. But she didn't act awkward, so I was like, okay, maybe it's not awkward, you know. So you know, you get used to it and you go on about your business. Yeah, so it was, and yeah, I said it to say like nobody was raping people and stuff like that, right? Because there was a lot of conversation about that. People were raping people. And there was no issue like that, at least that I experienced there. So yeah, any other questions? I guess as I go to the pictures. Yes. So I forget the word in Treaty, but it means only God. That symbol means only God, but I forget the word in Treaty. Maybe, I'm not sure. So yeah, now I'm just gonna show like a few videos, and yeah, let's
Powering off.
okay, here it is. So these are my students rapping right here. You out here? Rapping. They're trying to be rappers. They wanted me to get on the track with them, but I said, my rap shit's over. If y'all would have found me when I was 18, maybe, but not that. Their French is like when they're rapping, you rapping French, it's probably going over my head. So I didn't even know what they were talking about. So, to be honest, like it's the same thing with them. Like when because we would get ciphers, I would rap with them, but I would rap in English, and they would understand what I was saying. They would pick up the flow and things like that. So yeah, I didn't know what they were talking about. So I hope they were saying some good stuff.
Here's the little similarities in the rhythm, because when I hear the young people rap here, and then you hear the flow, da 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 da, yeah, da 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 da, oh, and then the same thing you can hear there, it was just a different language.
Definitely. So this was another event when they were there's a group called Yakome. They were like a jazz group, and this particular thing they have a few folks are doing like an African dance.
They're dancing. I'm out there. It didn't say it like that. I don't know why it's playing like that now. We were getting ready for a competition. So this is one where they were. I think this is like a tribal. This dance they're doing now is like a tribal thing. So the three main tribes in Côte d'Ivoire, there are many, like I said earlier, there's 60, but the three main tribes are the Jula, the Bale, and the Bete. And so the thing is that even though they're the largest tribes in Côte d'Ivoire, they're not native to Côte d'Ivoire. So those the native tribes in Côte d'Ivoire are very, very small, and at this point have probably been transitioned to the other tribes. But so the Bale, they come from Ghana, right? So a lot of them they speak their language is very similar to Twi or Ashanti. It's very similar to them because they come from that region. And so then you have the Bete. So Bale and Ghana, Bete, they come from Liberia. So they come from the Liberian land. And so the Jula is actually the largest tribe in Côte d'Ivoire. They come from the north, so they come from Mali and Burkina Faso, and they're Muslim. I guess Muslim is the dominant religion, right? But yeah, for the most part, these tribes they lived in peace for hundreds of years. There was only an issue between them maybe 4 years ago when they had a civil war, which was the civil war was started whenever there's any conflict in the world. I would say know that the bigger countries are in the background pushing people to make decisions. So so I'll say that in terms of their civil war, it wasn't because the actual people had a conflict, but because the president before was kind of friendlier to China than he was with the West, and we know how the U.S. and the West can do when those things happen. So they led a coup to get him out. Yes. Well, I went to one when I went 3 years ago. So at this point, I was kind of, over, I guess, the safari aspect of things. But yeah. Huh? You mean when they got back out? Yeah. So yeah, no. As I was leaving, there was starting to be some trouble. So yeah, there's a student group there named Fessy, and they're pro Bagbo. Bagbo was there was a coup. He got kicked out of the country, and I think now he's in France. They're trying to put him in jail for war crimes or something like that. But it's interesting because when you're here in America, you hear the Bagbo is a bad person. He's this, he's that. But when you talk to most of the people there, and I'm critical of everybody. I think nobody's above criticism. So I have my criticisms of him. But most of the people there love him. So when you're talking to people on the street and things, they love this guy. Whereas the U.S., the media we get back is that they hate him. The people don't want him. So I just say keep that in mind when you hear about the U.S. is portraying certain people as boogeymen. Yeah, because most of the people there, they love the guy who had got kicked out. And so as I was leaving, the student group who's pro him, pro Bagbo, they were starting to. There had been some tensions brewing on the university where, there were. One time I walked into a battle with them and the police. Things were definitely heating up as I was leaving because the government, they outlawed this group, the student group, they banned them. They said they're against the law. This is against the law. But that doesn't mean somebody's gonna stop resisting, right? It's created some tensions where even the tension is coming from right now that the government, they're going to have like this African Olympics in Cote d'Ivoire. It's going to be in Cote d'Ivoire next year. So, they have to house the people. So they want to kick the students out of their dorms to house the people. And the students obviously aren't going to go for that. So, and I guess it reached a climax with a few things. Was that the police were like busting up inside of dorms and beating up people who were like involved in this group. And the group responded by catching some of the police slipping and beating them up back. People, fighting back. I guess it pinnacled and the police ran over a guy and killed him. Intentionally ran him over and killed him. And the students came right back, I heard like maybe a week later, and ran the police off the university. This is as I was leaving. So I would go up to the university and there would just be utter chaos. And I was like, whoa, okay, this is interesting. But I'll say people in Africa are definitely much more feisty than people in the US. They're more fearless, I think like in America, if you protesting and they ran over somebody, folks probably don't come back out. But they would back out like the next week, and I think that week was just so they can mourn and grieve their friend. As soon as they were done grieving them, like I said, they chased the police off the campus. It's ironic. So for me, one day I came up there and there was like 50 police like armed to the T, and the next day there were just none. Literally the next day there were no police. And I asked my friend, like, where the police at? And it was like, we got them out of here. They chased them off. So that was interesting dynamic. A few more videos again. You go ahead, Kendra. What's your question?
My question was, when you were down in South Africa, I remember when the apartheid movement when they were first trying to abolish. So when you were down there, what did you see? Was there any kind of conversation about how things were different now than then by some of the people you were down there at the museum? Because you say you visited.
Yeah. So unfortunately, when I was in South Africa, I didn't get a lot of time to mingle with people. We were kind of like in a hotel in our little conference thing, so I didn't get a chance to like mingle with folks on the street too much. But I don't know if anybody's been following South Africa right now, but they have their own movement right now called the Fees Must Fall, where they're fighting against the ANC, right? They're fighting, the students now are fighting against the ANC because, the ANC kind of betrayed the people in major ways, right? You can go on YouTube and find the videos of the fees. It's called Fees Must Fall. So the ANC government is trying to hike, university fees, and the students are saying no. Actually, we don't want to pay the university, period. So there's this big movement right now in South Africa to fight against that. So I guess to answer your question, I think what you have in South Africa is what you have here. You have a movement that's been in arrested development, I guess, in a sense, right? So like we have right now Black Lives Matter, which is trying to pick up the mantle of the 60s, right? I think this Fees Must Fall movement is trying to do the same thing with ANC. So, and this is a video of me rapping. I told you, me and my students, we would get ciphers going. So this is just a picture. This is just video of me rapping, and then like my students, well, us having a cipher, and then beatboxing. I don't know if you all can hear him beatboxing though.
Okay. Just imagine if I didn't rap, but I stood on the corner selling crack, no books, blood, talking in my back, at the slack. Since I picked the game like a Mac, digging in the scene where the gangster live.
That was the experience. I wanted to show you all one more video because I think you all really appreciate it, but I have to try to find it. I couldn't find it before, but I know I had it. Big problem.
Yeah, unemployment. He asked me how's unemployment. Unemployment is a big problem. A lot of my friends, most of the friends who I showed you, who were my friends, a lot of them had degrees, right, with no job. So unemployment. And what I was saying, what I would tell a lot of people is that Africa doesn't necessarily have an education problem. I'm sure education needs improvement, but the thing is, people have degrees, right? They just don't have jobs. So Africa more so has an employment problem. I would say that's the biggest problem that's facing Africa is employment. And Africa is kind of caught in this peculiar situation in the sense a lot of folks, there are a lot of markets, all right? There are a lot of, informal marketplaces and stuff like that, where folks, sell food and all these other things. So it's either you do that, because the government's not gonna provide jobs, so you either do that, or maybe you work on construction, making equivalent to $10 a day doing that. Or you rely on family to kind of help you through. But yeah, a lot of the jobs are based on nepotism, I would say. But we live in Gary, so similar. I would say similar to. Let's see. There's a. Okay, yeah, this is it. So I thought you all would enjoy this. We seen that here, right? Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's it. So
So she asked, how was the crime situation? I don't know, you know, I'm from Chicago and Gary, so I was like, it can't get no worse than that, you know, so like, you know, my friends, they would, you know, say, watch, somebody might try to pickpocket you, or like, if, you know, it looks like they can take your bag and run off with it, they'll try to do that, but, yeah, not like, you know, but coming up in Chicago, I'm like, ain't nobody gonna run up on me with a gun and take myself, right? I was like, I'm cool with it, you know? So yeah. So, I mean, the crime wasn't, that big of an issue. I wouldn't say, I never felt unsafe. But I'm also a man, so I'm sure that plays into that as well. But yeah, I never personally felt unsafe. Okay, yeah. Right, so, yeah. So the community would respond sometimes, could respond sometimes very brutally, right? So I remember one guy, he had got caught, I think he like stabbed somebody. He like tried to rob a student and stabbed him. And the community folks killed him. They like stoned him to death, basically. And like the police, they came when it was done, you know, kind of like just got his body out of there. But so you know, I have I don't know how I personally feel about that. I respect one aspect that, you know, it's the community handling deviant behavior instead of the state doing it. But at the same time, he had been killed, you know. So I guess for me personally, I would like to see something more. I would like to see the community handle those type of issues, but with more of a process to it. You know, because you don't obviously want mob justice either, right? Because then that can go crazy. But the community, they handle it. You know, so I mean, so to answer your question about is there a crime, a lot of times if somebody did pickpocket you and started running, if you yell thief, somebody gonna try to grab him. You know, so yeah, so that's why they run. Cause they know they gotta get out of there quick, because if you yell thief, you know, somebody is gonna somebody's gonna snatch him. Now, I remember one time, one of the apprentices, they're the folks who kind of man the boxers, right? I guess one time he wasn't going to give this woman her change, and like everybody on the bus was like, "Well, you ain't moving the bus until you get this woman her money back." So you know, so yeah, you know, you definitely can see how communities can handle that, but you know, you want more of a process too. Yeah. So.
Did they have a drug problem over there?
I wouldn't say it's as bad as the U.S., but you know, people definitely did drugs, but I don't think it was as serious of a problem as the U.S. Well, I never saw any hard drugs. Like some of my friends would smoke weed and stuff like that, but I never saw any like hard drugs. But even the weed, I think the weed that they smoke is not like loud. Yeah, I don't know if y'all know loud. Loud is like real potent type weed, like, you know, which obviously if it's not weed, it means chemically induced, some sort of chemical in it to make it more potent. But no, they smoke regular weed, I would say that. So yeah. But like I say, I don't think it's as big of an issue as it is here.
What are the major exports from Côte d'Ivoire?
Okay, so Côte d'Ivoire is the world's largest cocoa exporter. So if you ever eat chocolate, 9 times out of 10 it came from there. They're in Ghana, but they beat out Ghana. They've been beating out Ghana for the last 10 years or so. But yeah, chocolate, cocoa, and coffee. They also are a big coffee exporter as well. So, and I'm sure they have. I mean, it's Africa, so I'm sure they have minerals as well that they export. But I think the minerals are more like in terms of bulk in like Central Africa, like that.
I have a question. In English, since they were speaking and singing in French,
Mm-hmm.
what about in terms of English being taught in this what is the norm, or is it taught at all?
No, yeah, no. So yeah, English is taught. English is taught, but it's not a priority though, because you know, on the street, you know, I mean, just same here, right? On the street, you speak French, you know, so you know, you may know a few words or something like that, but it's not stressed. But I think now it's becoming big, you know, with you know, I think just U.S. culture just starting. I mean, U.S. culture is probably the most dominant culture in the world, and you see that when you travel abroad, how dominant U.S. culture is. So yeah, I think with that, English is starting to become more important to people, and also, you know, in a lot of ways, it's a way to get out of the country, right? You can speak English.
What's the average family size?
Mm.
In the United States, you just go like that to
All right.
but today, we have an average like 3 to 4 kids.
I would say maybe.
Do they have large kids or
Some, I mean, yeah, to an extent, but not everybody. I don't know. Yeah, that's a difficult question to answer. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I had some friends who had 8 siblings. I had some friends who had 3. You know, so yeah, that's why I say it's hard to pinpoint that. I mean, I'm sure there's a number. I just don't know the median, but yeah. But you know, I mean, it's Africa, right? So you know, it's an extended family, right? Extended families are very big there. So somebody may not necessarily be your blood brother, but it's your brother. You know, same here, right?
So Jonathan, when you got, now you may have answered this, what was their greeting to you when you first came? How did they make you feel a part of the community?
Everybody was very nice to me. Yeah, everybody was very nice to me. I know that's sometimes an apprehension that a lot of Black Americans have about going to Africa, right? How will I be accepted and things. But yeah, no, I didn't have any issues. Everybody was nice. Everybody was kind. I would say though that definitely my ideas and thinking of race have changed through being there, just because I think, you know, growing up in America, you have this very U.S.-centered way of viewing things. So, you know, you kind of put America's definition of racism, to you apply it to the world. But it, you know, it's different. A lot of folks called me a white man when I was there, you know. And me being me, y'all know me, so I'm like, whoa, this was like a shock to me. I'm like, wow, for real. You know, I had a guy walk up to me in the street and say LeBlanc, which is like the white. And I was like, who, you? I was like, not me. You know. But yeah, so you learn. But no, because one day me and my friend, we were getting into this argument about it. And he was like, well, look at you. I mean, look at your skin. Like, you mixed. Like, you got some European in you. And then I had to deal with that. I was like, yeah, you're right. You know, I guess, you know, in a sense, yeah, you are right. So in America, you know, I'm a Black man, right? But in Cote d'Ivoire, I'm mixed. You know, I'm in this kind of limbo area. So. Probably both. Probably a little bit of both. Yeah, with that, but also, I mean, I'm light. You said I'm light skinned, right? So yeah, I mean, so that's why I said it's a little bit of both. Cause yeah, I mean, yeah, if even if you're dark skinned, they would consider you Western, you know, if you're not from there. But
South Africa is different.
I don't remember Cote d'Ivoire being, having a big AIDS, HIV problem, has it?
I don't think so. No, I think AIDS and HIV are more so like, they're big in like Central Africa, Central and East Africa. I mean, they have it, every place has it, but I don't think it's not that much of a problem. Yeah, I think AIDS and HIV are big in like East Africa, Central Africa, places like that. And like Cote d'Ivoire, they also didn't have Ebola. It's weird. They're right by Liberia and Sierra Leone, but they didn't have a case of Ebola. So. Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, and I mean, technically, while I was there, I was. Because Fulbright, they paid very generously. So yeah, while I was there, technically, in a sense, I was. So, but I would tell my friends that once I get back to America, that's gonna be a wrap. So, right. As soon as I got back. So yeah. But I think a lot of people have this idea that Americans are rich and things like that. People that there's no poverty and things like that here. Yeah.
Like over here, we were like Jordan 2, we more like those,
They are like materialistic and things.
more idealistic or.
To an extent, I would say, yeah, I think so. To an extent, I think so. To an extent, not as bad, but yeah, to an extent, I would say that they're materialistic. But I think that's because even on their TV screens, right? The TV channels there and stuff, they get a lot of U.S. commercials. So you got folks who can't buy, the actual U.S. stuff there is too high for them to buy, but they see the stuff on the TV. So, yeah, it's this weird dynamic.
It's just occurred to me, I'd asked you earlier about what they export, and I knew it was cocoa department, but haven't they begun now to manufacture chocolate rather than simply export? Well, they have long been exporting the cocoa, other countries manufacture it to make our profit.
I think there's discussion. I don't know if they officially have, but I know there's discussion about it. They may have, I'm not sure. But yeah, I know that there's discussion about it. But they got to take that over France, I would say. France still runs Cote d'Ivoire like a colony, I would say. So even when I was there, you see the French army riding around in tanks around Cote d'Ivoire. So yeah, I guess it depends on if they get that approval from France. Even like the water and the electricity company are French. They're not Ivorian. The Ivorian bank that prints their money is in France. It's not in Ivory Coast, right? So yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, I would say I think they probably have to. And the reason I found that out was because nobody there they never want to give you change. Nobody ever wants to give you any change. So if you want to buy something, you better have the exact money you need, because you ask for change, folks will look at you like, nah, you don't got no change. They may have it, but I did some asking around, and I guess that's because the money's printed in France, so they have to I guess it makes sometimes money. I don't know how that plays into it, but exactly. But I guess that makes the pool of money low at times, so people kind of get stingy with giving the change and stuff.
And they play money is traded just like stocks and bonds are traded. So it's like I remember one year, in 1987 when we had Black Monday, we were down in Mexico. The dollar, you used to get $5,400 pesos for your dollar, and then the market crashed and it went down to $12.54. So same way, all money is traded. All money is traded. Will Smith.
No, Will. So a lot of people did call me Obama, to be honest. Like even when I was in Kenya, people were like Obama. And I thought that was really interesting, right? So yeah. I mean, they knew I wasn't, but you know they were joking, saying it. So yeah. Thank you all. Thank you all so much.
Spell where you was, the city where you was at.
Abidjan.
Yeah.
ABIDJAN.
Yeah.
Yes.
Make sure you got tan off of that.
Okay. That's Cote d'Ivoire.
Nice.
Ivory Coast.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, he was young though.
Yeah, he was small.
Good to see you.
All right.
Okay.
Did mine ever come?
Oh, today?
Stephanie, a couple of them already left.
No, that's.
I can tell that.
What's the name of the church?
It's right around the corner.
Oh, right around the corner from here?
Pilgrim.
Oh, they're going to Pilgrim. Oh, okay. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. And if there's every person is a different definition of race, that's what I'm saying.
All right.
She could be considered South Africa.
Right.
And I could be considered.
If her hair is natural.
Yeah.
If that hair is natural.
It's interesting.
Did anybody take any pictures now?
I don't know, maybe. I don't know.
I had some pictures from different parts of Africa, and they were very
Should have took some pictures.
But
Ain't nobody took no pictures?
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He said that's there.